Thank you for coming, and we have a really packed agenda with great speakers. Everyone is going to talk about new things that they're trying, new focus areas, and what we want to think about together with you guys is where the industry is going, what are the trends, what is the strategy that sports organizations need to look into when they look a few years ahead. And that's what we're trying to think, how the industry is going to look 5 years from now. This is us as a company, what we're always looking, because at the end of the day, our aim is to help you guys succeed as sports organization. And if we look at the mission of WSC Sports, our aim is to empower you guys to connect with any fan anywhere through AI content experiences. Now, connecting with fans is becoming harder and harder. And it's becoming harder because of basically we're seeing fragmentation across the entire ecosystem, and we see it in many places. We see it in fragmentation in how people consume content, and obviously we all know linear is not the way to consume now. A lot of people are moving to digital, but also on digital, we're seeing that they're on each and every platform, different type of content, different type of platform, different type of experience, and it's really hard to connect with these fans on each and every platform. We're also seeing fragmentation in where the games are being shown, and the sports is being shown in general. And you can see a graph in each and every territory. There are more and more media right owners that are showing the content. And in that way, it's hard to build a habit. It's hard to build a habit for a fan to always go back to the same broadcaster. They need to be scattered around, understand what's going on. It's a different experience. Advertisers don't know where to put the money because it's very scattered, so they just put a lot of the money into Facebook and Google. So this fragmentation also makes it hard. And the last thing that we're seeing is that it's hard to grow the next generation of fans. If in the past it was easy to become a sports fan because TV always showed the game and you were sitting in the living room, a lot of us, with your parents, watching the game and becoming a fan of part of the tradition. So now that the game is not always live on TV, this doesn't necessarily happen. And obviously with the abundance of content that we see all over, and I see it for my kids as well, it's hard to make them go and watch sports, and we're seeing less Gen Z have a favorite team, they're attending less games, and obviously as the sports industry, that's our aim, to go and grow the next generation of fans, and it's a big challenge everyone needs to address. So if we're looking and say that the entire ecosystem is super fragmented, fans are everywhere, and the main challenge for a sports organization is how to really have this fan ownership, how to build a relationship with these fans, know everything about the fans, and try to capitalize on top of that. And when we look at where we're going, at least as a company, and where we think the industry is going, we think that in order to have this fan ownership, you need to master 4 different pillars. Every sports organization, we need to build the muscle to master those 4 different pillars. The first one, starting from the top left side, is the content. Being able to tell any type of story for any type of fan, whether it's a hardcore fan or just a casual fan, whether it's the game, whether it's everything around the game, being able to tell any type of story for any fan is crucial. But now creating the content is only one way to look at it, but then it's also how you serve it, because consuming content on mobile phone is not the same as you do it on connected TV. It's not the same as live. Each one requires a different adaptation, a different way to consume it, and you want to reach fans in each and every touch point that they're consuming the content. And once you do that, and you're successful in doing that, you can go to the next pillar of actually building unique fan data, a golden record of each and every fan, that you know what they consume, what they like, whether it's explicit or implicit. And if you really know your fans well, then comes the last part of how you can generate revenue. And that's not only relevant for sports, that's how the entire digital ecosystem works. And our sports organization that want to really have the ownership of the fan relationship will to start into growing and mastering these 4 muscles to really control the future of fandom. So let's go one by one quickly and see where we are and where we think that we're doing. So obviously everyone knows about content, that our aim is to be able to tell infinite stories in a click. Any type of story for every type of fan. And obviously the company has started from creating game footage, but now in the last year expanded into much more than that, and obviously starting to look at press conferences, interviews, which is unique content that we know how to automatically analyze and break them into different bytes, different types of content, whether it's vertical, whether it's for social media, whether it's graphics, quotes, etc., and everything is automatically indexed. And we're seeing great usage by some of our clients in utilizing that content to drive additional engagement. whether it's growing to studio shows, and we know that broadcasters, competitions are showing huge amounts of content in studio shows, and just a few months ago we launched with ESPN with our first client, analyzing 19 different studio shows, automatically breaking down every topic, every segment, creating new content, and connecting everything to the game footage itself to really generate lots of new content to drive that traffic. And as we go by, we want to continue and enrich the content and enrich the storytelling, and obviously using generative AI capabilities to go and build new storylines. And we do it through using different layers and different capabilities. So the first one is looking at the audio layer, and obviously, as you know, WSC is creating video content, but now we automatically use the fact that we are the ones that are creating the highlight. Our algorithm knows why it selected specific plays to appear in the highlight, so we automatically write the script for the highlight and create an audio track on top of that. So imagine a game ends, and as the game ends, you already have it with the highlights and already with a voiceover and several languages to tell the story of the game.
Es el juego 2 de las finales de la NBA en Boston. Los Celtics buscan poner la serie 2-0 en casa.
And this is something that we're going to have in one of the next sessions. Bob from the NBA came here and is going to talk about how the NBA is really using generative AI to create content, to localize content, and to really get to each and every fan. And then we said, okay, we have the capability to automatically create a voiceover for each and every highlight. We have the capability to automatically dub it to each and every language to have it available right after the game to each and every audience. So that's one way of localizing it. But again, we know that fans might like different styles, different ways of listening to it. So we said, okay, let's go to the next phase and see how we can automatically create the highlights, not only in different languages, but also in different styles for each and every fan. And we just said, okay, let's try maybe to go with the rap one.
Yo, Boston Celtics ready. Timberwolves in sight. Both teams hungry. Standings, they ignite. Celtics chase that 5.
And we can move to an old school one. And that way, making fans
whilst the Timberwolves strive to recover from recent tribulations.
Jason passes the ball to Jalen, who scores a super-duper long three-pointer to start it.
Lightning strikes the start of the game.
And really, at the end of the day, creating content that serves each and every fan. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what the fans want to consume, and we want to be able to create content that serves each and every one of them, and in an algorithmic way, making sure that they consume more and more of that content and connect more to the game. So we talked about different capabilities in the audio layer, but now we're also looking at the text layer. A lot of organizations are obviously writing a lot of text, a lot of articles, a lot of newsletters, but then when you want to go and create it in rich media, it doesn't always exist as part of the experience. And I'm sure a lot of you had in your CMS a lot of articles, but no rich media connected to it, newsletter, no rich media connected to it. And what we've developed is the ability to take that textual content, automatically analyze what the content is talking about, and then creating relevant content, video content that is attached to these articles and newsletters. If you have the rights, we're pulling the clips from our archive that we indexed and attaching it next to the article. If you don't have the rights, we integrate to an image repository such as Get Images and automatically creating new rich media content that you can have attached to your content and you can monetize it, or new real estate that you can now post on social media, on your app, to create a really rich experience of telling these stories. This is something that we launched with ESPN as well, and you can see an example on the bottom right side, how we took a fantasy, fantasy article and automatically, created a video out of it right away as the article is being written, and now it's there, and we're now seeing that every day ESPN is creating more than 100 new videos attached to all of their editorial, and it's an automated flow that is connected to the CMS and really enables them to scale their content creation and tell any type of story. The same way was just launched with Yahoo as well. And again, we talked about audio, we talked about text, and now let's also talk about video, because one of the challenges we talked about is that the challenge in how you grow the next generation of fans. And this is something that we've started to do with the NBA, and Bob and Itai is going to talk about it, but really building a new experience for young kids, looking at a new show, which we called Ali and Noop, with new characters, that they're going to be the face of the league towards the young audiences, and how you can go and create this new narrative, new storytelling, explaining about the game, explaining about the players, and doing everything through Gen AI. So instead of it taking 1 week in a studio to create it in an animated way, putting it through a Gen AI and takes a couple of hours, 3, 4, to create an episode and do it in a repetitive way, and again, expose the game in a whole new way to the younger audiences, while also creating new IP that you can then manage and monetize with different ways. So we touched on different ways how we think that the world will grow and really go into creating infinite amount of stories for each and every fan. But then we said content itself is not enough. We also want to make sure that we reach every fan wherever they are. And the key to fan ownership is bringing those fans not only to consume the content, but also bring them into your own owned and operated, your app, your website, your CTV app, your OTT, because that's where you really interact with the fans, that's where you collect the data, and then you can continue in doing that. So we started by looking at the mobile app, which is one of the most important assets each and every sports organization have. And we said, okay, how can we make fans go into the leagues, federation, teams app instead of just going to social media? We said, let's start with seeing how fans behave on social media. And we all know that each one is copying from each other, but the experience is vertical, stories, feed, swipeable feed, algorithmic based, that adapts to each and every user. And we took the same concept and said, okay, so let's build a software component that enables every sports organization to implement it in their app, and all of a sudden, quite quickly have the same experiences that everyone is used to on social media, but have it as part of their app in a very unique way, and combine it with our Magic Crop patent that we have in how to crop content automatically in vertical to really create content at scale and enable sports organization to really offer a modernized app with a sleek UI, nice experience, the way that people are used to consuming content on social media, but everything lives within their own and operated. We saw a very fast adoption by the market. Almost 100 of our clients have already implemented that solution in their app to really provide this unique experience to their fans. And this is an example our friends from La Liga posted about the increase and the impact that kind of experience has on the users from their app, whether it's a lot of more active users, more registered users, more enriched profiles to support personalization, and the impact is clear and big. So that is one part that we went out, which is the mobile app. But as we said, your O&O is not only your mobile app. We need to look at each and every touch point that you have with your fans in a different way. So the next one is the connected TV, which is one of the fastest growing segments of how fans consume sports, and the experience is different. It's not vertical, 16:9. Fans want to control what they see, how they see it, and you want to make sure that you're there and you're providing the best experience. There's also the live experience, which is another type of experience, and how you can connect and provide an interactive layer to the fans, whether they join late into the game to catch up what happened, or whether you create an interactive timeline, different use cases to really help understand the fans, what they care, and provide the best experience. But unfortunately, fans are not always only on your O&O, and today's sports organizations don't capitalize on that. It means that fans can consume content of a specific league somewhere else, and you won't enjoy it. So one of the key things that we're building is how to help drive traffic from the different places that fans consume content on, to drive that traffic, that interest into your owned and operated. Whether it's happening on Google Search, with Google One Box, that fans are searching for something, they're getting a clip of the relevant search query, and clicking on that drives them the traffic back into your owned and operated. So really converting high intent users to be users and traffic of your owned and operated, or whether they do the same thing on scoring apps. A lot of fans are consuming content on scoring apps. The experience is great. They want to see the content, so why not already use that? And when they go and want to see the highlight, they'll be redirected into your owned and operated, and looking at it as a marketing funnel of where a lot of eyeballs are already there, and moving them back into your owned and operated. And obviously, the new player in town, all the LLMs where we're seeing everything growing there, usage, habits are being built on top of the LLM, and the same experience that we see on Google search will be applied in the LLM. Fans will go, will search for something. It's much more open. You can want to search for whatever you want, and you want to be able to get the results. And again, every results should drive the traffic back into your own NO to have more and more touch points with these fans. So if we go that way, and we really understand that each one of these touch points is different, and we must be in each one of these touch points, because at the end of the day, we said we want to build the fan ownership. We want to know who the fans are. We want to build the profiles of these fans, and want to make sure that we can generate revenue out of it. And we want to make sure that we touch them wherever they are, whether it's the owner-operated, whether it's the third party, to convert them, really to get to know them more and more, start building these profiles of the fan, and converting the fans from anonymous users through a journey that we know more and more about them. It can be their consumption habit, it can be their purchase habit, it can be other things that they're doing, and just enriching the data layer and building these golden records on these fans. Because once we know more on these fans, we can monetize it. We can monetize it in two main ways. One is directly to the fans. Today, you have a lot of communication with your fans, and being able to optimize it and reach the right fan, whether it's a text message, a push notification, through the app, through a newsletter, so it's the right medium, with the right message, with the right call to action. That's how the digital world works today. Today in the sports world is very wide segments, but as we see Gen AI improving, agentic capabilities, we're going to go and see a one-to-one communication with each and every fan. We're starting to see it outside of sports, and it's going to trickle into sports as well. And the second piece is from sponsors and advertisers, and we're seeing that more and more sponsors and more budgets of advertisers are shifting into digital. Advertisers are smarter, they want to see ROI on their campaigns, and we're seeing that over the last few years, we're seeing a huge shift of budgets going from the real world, of being just the sponsor on the sleeve, which is not enough anymore, to moving into the digital world and trying to see ROI. And sports organizations are in a very, very unique position. Not in many industries, there's the capability to create really unique fan data. In a lot of industries, they think they have unique fan data, but actually Google and Facebook has much better data, and they can capitalize it much better. But in sports, because of the fandom, because of the purchase, because of the high intent and affinity, there's a way to create really unique fan data and use that data to really drive sponsorship and advertising money into that. This is a concept that is called Commerce Media Network. It is the fastest growing segment in advertising outside of sports. And it means that how organizations are actually using their first-party data, their zero-party data, to make it available for advertisers to create campaigns against these audiences. And if we look about the industry itself, it's an industry that is growing really rapidly in 5 years from $40 billion to $100 billion, doubling the amount it takes from the ad spend from 20% to 22%. What it means is there is a huge opportunity for sports organizations that will know how to build the right fan data and how to come to the advertisers with the right offering to capture a lot of that value. And this value is just going to happen, and sponsors and advertisers are going to put more and more money into offerings like that are based on user data outside of sports and in sports. So if we try to summarize, we believe that in our thesis and where we believe the company, where we put our resources, that the sports industry is going to become more and more digital. And becoming more and more digital means you need to know the fans much better. The same way that Amazon, Google, Facebook knows everything about us, we think the sports industry is going into that direction. And to be able to do that, sports organization will need to master all these four. And that, again, goes back to our mission, really helping sports organization connect with fans. And for building this connection, that's the right way to do it. So that was about us.